I covered Diddy's first trial back in 2001 when he was still Puff Daddy, and facing charges of gun possession and bribery after a nightclub shooting which left 3 wounded. During breaks, I sometimes spoke with his mother, Janice Coles, who was warm, rattled, and clearly charmed by my British accent. She liked it so much she even asked me to record the outgoing message on her cell phone. Her anxiety was clear. His father had been killed when Diddy was just a toddler. And as our correspondent Michael Daly wrote in his dispatches from this latest courtroom drama, that kind of trauma doesn't just haunt a man, it moulds him. That first trial ended with an acquittal and a triumphant strut. This one ends with a weary ambiguity. Outside the Manhattan courthouse, a group of fans were already rubbing baby oil on their arms in a show of loyalty and on-brand, if grotesque, tribute to the flawed hero. A cheer went up when they learned Diddy had been found not guilty on 3 of the 5 charges against him, including racketeering and sex trafficking. The verdict was partial, messy, and perhaps like a 3-day-long freak-off that never seemed to climax, determinedly unsatisfying. Diddy's always been more than a man. He's a brand, he's a myth, he's a billionaire, he's a slick mashup of Harlem hustle and Hampton's billionaire hedonism. But the trial that just concluded at least cracked that gloss. And what spilled out wasn't swagger, it was control, desperation, and a rapacious appetite for power. The trial was never just about the alleged assaults or trafficking. It became a referendum on coercive control, that insidious psychological terrain where men don't force but manipulate, where women aren't dragged but coaxed, where ambition is weaponized. Cassie Ventura and Jane weren't kidnapped at gunpoint. They walked in with dreams of stardom and stayed for the high proximity to fame. Their ambition was used against them. That was the deal. But as the trial made painfully clear, it was a one-sided deal. The currency was humiliation. That's why Jennifer Lopez walked away. She was already somebody. Cassie and Jane were still becoming. Diddy could have helped them. Instead, he hurt them. The freak-offs, the IV nurses hired not to heal, but to help the girls stay on their feet. The NDA choked silences weren't scenes from a dystopian music video. They were part of a brutal machinery to keep those young and beautiful women fed, medicated, visible and obedient. Not for love, not even for lust, but for a man whose addiction wasn't to sex or women. It was to domination. The testimony revealed so much, but what lingers isn't just the decadence and depravity. It revealed the panic. Diddy himself on the phone grovelling to hotel security to bury the tape of him assaulting Cassie. "If it gets out, I'm finished," he reportedly said. He got it. The $100,000 wasn't just a payoff. It was an emergency flare from a crumbling empire built on shame, surveillance, and silence. The jury gave him a narrow escape. 2 guilty counts of transporting prostitutes, lighter charges, lighter sentencing. I've covered enough trials to know juries don't behave as expected. They don't just weigh the law, they weigh fatigue, internal dynamics, holidays, doubt. We haven't heard from a jury yet, but I expect they felt the bind. Diddy isn't Epstein. He didn't ferry underage Snow Whites, as they were called, to a private island. Diddy sauntered in through the VIP entrance. He operated in the open. He strolled the red carpets with Cassie on his arm, hoisted Grammy trophies, and he launched his couture line at the Met Gala. As the verdict came down, Diddy treated 3 out of the 5 not guilty as a win, pumping a fist in the air and applauding. Denied bail, he's back in jail for now, awaiting sentencing on October the 3rd. Moulded by the bullet that killed his heroin-dealing father, he's probably already planning his public penance tour. Expect yet another name change, a primetime interview with Gayle King where he'll try to present himself with more restraint than R. Kelly did. A new track will drop on YouTube, soulful, repentant, ghost-written. Slowly the celebrity friends will drift back, though they probably won't post selfies online. And somewhere, A luminous and talented young woman who longs to be a star will decide that he's worth her affection, and she'll be the exception. That his past was overblown, that Cassie was crazy, and that this was all just a hideous smear campaign.